Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, the WBKB News team went to work today wrapping presents for families in need this holiday season. Plus, the community production of the Nutcracker that took place this weekend will benefit local nonprofit organizations. And a local author has finished his 4th volume of a collection of books about the history of Hubbard Lake. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
It's a giving time of the year, and today our own WBKB News team took part in wrapping presents for children in need this holiday season. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. Everyone gathered at the Vietnam Veterans Building in Alpena to help wrap presents as part of the Toys for Kids operation. This operation began in 1993. This year there are about 1,200 kids, 750 families that need assistance for the holidays.
Things are bad. Maybe one time of the year you can give someone some hope, or just take their mind off of things that are happening to them.
Today the news team picked out gifts, then wrapped them for children of all ages. Toys for Kids is helping families in Alpena, Alcona, Montmorency, and Presque counties.
You, the wrappers, the people that donate the toys, you're the ones that make it happen. This is your community. You entrusted these names with us. We got to have your assistance. We just have to.
All of the gifts will be delivered by volunteers to the homes of those in need. The Vietnam vets want to help everyone that needs assistance this year. They will continue accepting donations until the last box goes out the door. And Michigan State Troopers asked for help in stuffing a blue goose yesterday. As their winter charity, the police in Alpena like to give back to the community that they say supports them so much. Troopers were at Neiman's Family Market and Walmart all day yesterday collecting new toys and non-perishable food items. All toys and food collected will go to families in need in Alpena, Alcona, Montmorency, and Presque counties.
It's important that we look after each other. Times are hard right now. It's getting better, but we still have families and kids that don't have everything that they ought to have at Christmas time. And it's nice that we'll be able to supply some toys and some good food items for those families.
And in case you were wondering why they use the term stuffing a blue goose,
back in the 1950s is when we first started painting our cars this color. And back then there was a bus line called Blue Goose that had the same color buses. And troopers just started calling the cars Blue Gooses, and it stuck.
Troopers gave all of the items collected to the Vietnam veterans in Alpena, who will be in charge of the distribution. Lieutenant Hahn says yesterday was very successful. Over 1,300 food items and 850 toys were collected. Lots of toys and food collections, but the Alpena County Horsemen's Club is asking for the public's help in collecting bottles and cans. Yesterday they held a bottle drive at the Alpena County Fairgrounds office. All proceeds will go toward another free children's carnival ride day at the fair next year. Volunteers sorted through all of the cans and bottles, sorting them by company names. Last year, with a few other fundraising events, the club was able to reach their goal of $1,500.
This year, the Alpena Horsemen's Club can do better. I know our community can do better. We always feel the love, we feel the support, and it's not a better place to live in.
All bottles and cans will be turned into Neiman's Family Market. This year, the goal is $3,000. The fair will run August 12th through the 15th. This is an ongoing bottle drive. Bottles or cans can be dropped off at the Fair Board office, or you can give Konecki a call at 989-356-0071, and someone will even come to you to pick up your bottles. And people from all over Northeast Michigan came to Alpena High School today and yesterday to enjoy the Sunrise Side production of the Nutcracker. The community production of the Nutcracker began in 1997 and runs every 4 years. This year there were 135 people in the show, ages 4 to over 70. This includes people from Alpena to Alcona, Rogers City, and Millersburg. Auditions and rehearsals began in August. All proceeds from the show benefit local nonprofit organizations such as Toys for Kids, the Sunrise Mission, and the Friendship Room.
Well, I think it's a great thing for families to come to. We have a narrator that tells the story, so even if you're not familiar with the Nutcracker, the narrator and a little girl narrator help tell the story for even our youngest patrons. And it makes a nice bonding experience and starts a great tradition.
More than $30,000 has been donated back into the community the past 4 times the Nutcracker production has run. And a collection of books about Hubbard Lake from one local author has been quite the hit. Author Mike Cornelius has been traveling around the area for book signings, his last signing at Smokies on Hubbard Lake Road Friday. Cornelius began writing these books about 8 years ago. He was a nature photographer and realized people seemed to enjoy the Hubbard Lake history, so he thought, why not put these things together and write a book? He has now written 4 different books about Hubbard Lake. His books go back in history to the 1600s.
It's a logical fit for me because I've spent my whole life around Hubbard Lake. I lived here for 60 years, and I love Hubbard Lake. And Ernest Hemingway, I heard, said once, write what you know. So that's what I'm writing, what I know, Hubbard Lake.
His first volume sold out of more than 1,000 copies. His latest Volume 4 book came out just this month. It's called 140 Years of Hunting and Fishing at Hubbard Lake. Cornelius says the object of his books are to stir up fond memories for those reading them. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, lawmakers in Michigan have passed a bill regarding women's rights to use insurance for abortion costs. Plus, find out when analysts think the Federal Reserve will begin tapering off its economic stimulus program. Welcome back. In state news, Michigan lawmakers have passed a bill in regard to women's insurance covering the cost of an abortion. Nick Perot has the story from Lansing.
In favor of letting the voters decide.
A heated issue with heated opinions.
Abortion is a personal choice made in many different circumstances, but that choice shouldn't result in a bill to taxpayers.
Restricting a woman's access to abortion services in the case of rape and incest is an abhorrent assault on women's rights in this state.
Initiative petition is passed.
Lawmakers passed measures in both the House and Senate that will force women to buy their own insurance to cover the cost of an abortion, something this representative says is just plain wrong.
The polling is clear. 60 to 70% of the Michigan voters across the state, Democrats, Republicans, independents, even some folks who are pro-life feel this measure is too extreme.
Senate Majority Leader Randy Richardville isn't buying the numbers.
Polls don't run the way people's conscience and people's passions work, and I'm actually proud of that.
Pro-choice supporters want this issue on the ballot anyway, a move that doesn't scare Ed Rivet.
Presumably they have to raise a couple $1 million and go out and do that kind of an effort with paid circulators because they don't have a grassroots network that'll do it volunteer like ours.
Now, a vote in the House for this legislation to take immediate effect failed, but House Leader Tim Grimble tells me he thinks it'll have little effect on the impact of the vote decided today.
It really won't change the negative and harmful impact that this proposal will have on women, but it will accommodate insurance companies.
And even though pro-life supporters say this move accommodates taxpayers as well, the fight appears to be far from over. In Lansing, Nick Perot, 6 News.
In your Money Watch, this could be the week the Federal Reserve finally gives a timetable for tapering off its economic stimulus program. The Fed kicks off a 2-day meeting Tuesday, but most analysts believe the central bank will wait until early next year to start scaling back after Ben Bernanke's term is up as Fed chairman. And the U.S. Senate is expected to vote this week on Janet Yellen's nomination to head the Federal Reserve. Top Democrat Harry Reid says the Senate won't vote until after it takes up a defense bill on Wednesday. And Beatles fans rejoice. 59 rare Beatles recordings will go on sale this week for the very first time. The tracks were previously only available as bootleg recordings. Among the songs to be released on iTunes are alternative versions of She Loves You and There's a Place, as well as studio outtakes and live performances. Gas prices staying pretty steady in most parts this weekend. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.14 at Shell. The lowest is $3.13 at Murphy USA. Across Michigan, the highest gas price is $3.59. That's in Stevensville. This price down a little than what we saw yesterday across the state. And the lowest price is coming in at $2.82 in Flint. There is still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Jeff Kolb will be in with a look at sports, and the snow continued to fall today. I'll let you know how much more we can expect. Stay tuned for your weather forecast. Thanks for joining us. Time now to look at our weather forecast. Today the high was 21 degrees. The low was 16 degrees. The normal high for December 15th is 32 degrees. Normal low 19 degrees. However, our record high for this day, 59 degrees. That was back in 1997. Record low, which I'm sure we're all glad that didn't hit today. 7 below. That was back in 1917. Sunrise this morning, 8:06. Sunset this afternoon around 4:53. Current conditions here in Alpena, it's 15 degrees. North winds, not really a lot of north winds, but those winds are coming out of the north, 0 miles per hour. Really feels like 20 degrees outside. Satellite and radar, taking a look at that, you can see that most of that snow has luckily moved to our east. However, there are some small patches of snow that may still come through Alpena tonight. We have a 40% chance of snow showers, low of 3 degrees, so bundle up if you're planning on heading outside. Northwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Going into tomorrow, light snow mostly after 1 p.m., 16 degrees for our high. South winds around 5 miles per hour. However, that wind chill could reach as low as 8 below. And then going into tomorrow night, we will have another chance of snow, 40%, low of 15 degrees. South winds around 10 miles per hour. And taking a look at the week ahead in our extended weather forecast, it's supposed to be mostly cloudy all week. Chance of snow showers throughout the entire week. Tuesday will hit a high of 31 degrees and then a low of 14. We'll drop down, hit a high of 25 degrees Wednesday, low of 14 degrees. Once again, we'll get all the way up to 31 degrees on Friday for our high, but then Saturday, high of 15 degrees and a low of 7 degrees. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Joe Thomas of Harrisville. Joe sends us this photo of one of his woodpecker visitors this week. He got this great close-up shot after putting out a fresh suet cake. For those who don't know, suet is a kind of fat that's particularly attractive to woodpeckers. It's high energy food that's especially valuable for birds in this cold weather. Thank you, Joe, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, just email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. And in your Health Watch, the Centers for Disease Control say abuse of prescription drugs may be the #1 cause of accidental death. That's why the American College of Physicians has new guidelines for doctors and their patients. The ACP recommends doctors screen for the risk of addiction and that patients agree in writing to do as their doctor recommends. Patients should also know that drugs do not eliminate 100% of the pain. The organization wants monitoring programs so patients can't cross state lines for multiple prescriptions. The CDC also reports just 40% of Americans have had their flu shot this season. Doctors are urging more people get vaccinated. About 35,000 people die annually from the flu. And a new study in The Lancet says a drug to prevent breast cancer in high-risk patients is a big success. Researchers say anastrozole brand name Arimidex is more effective than current treatments and has far less serious side effects. It helps postmenopausal women eliminate estrogen production. That's important because the more estrogen you have, the greater risk of developing estrogen-related breast cancer. And in national news, some sad news. Veteran actor Peter O'Toole has died in London at the age of 81. The actor's agent says his death followed a long illness. CBS News correspondent Allison Harmelin has more on his long and illustrious career.
Peter O'Toole earned his first Oscar nomination and became an international star for portraying a British soldier in the epic film Lawrence of Arabia. O'Toole's prolific career began on the British stage. From there, he embraced Hollywood in all of its glamour and gluttony and was known as a hard-drinking hellraiser in the 1960s. He starred with Richard Burton in Beckett.
I would have gone to war.
The actor teamed with Katharine Hepburn in The Lion of Winter.
All you more.
There's no one.
And he played a British schoolteacher in Goodbye, Mr. Chips. In 2011, the self-effacing actor signed his name in cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater.
It's many years since I had an intimate relationship with cement.
And 8 Academy Award nominations later, he never took home an Oscar, until 2003 when the Academy gave him an honorary award for his body of work.
Yeah, very good films, I think.
The celebrated son of Great Britain was beloved by millions around the globe. His death prompted this tweet from the British Prime Minister, quote, "My thoughts are with Peter O'Toole's family and friends. His performance in my favorite film, Lawrence of Arabia, was stunning." The legendary actor was 81. Allison Harmelin for CBS News, New York.
O'Toole leaves behind 2 daughters and a son. Well, sports is coming up next, but first, Jeff Kolb is here with a preview of what's ahead. Jeff?
It's been a rough patch for the Alpena Street Cats, but nothing can seem to derail our player of the week. His story coming up, and the Pistons with a tough test at home. Could they beat one of the league's best? The answer to that and more straight ahead here on WBKB. Moving to a foreign country is nerve-wracking enough. Getting lost trying to find your connecting flight? Well, that was the cherry on top when our Street Cat Player of the Week was making his way to Alpena. But he's overcame that and has hit the ice with a serious purpose since. Shannon McGrattan has more.
Meet Konstantin Kremov, an 18-year-old Russian forward who has made quite an impact since moving to Alpena.
He's been a hard worker and just a great leader for our team. We couldn't ask for a better kid on and off the ice.
However, getting to America was somewhat challenging.
Во Франции я запутался, скажи, в аэропорту. Не знал, куда идти. А так все остальное нормально.
But once he got here, everything seemed to flow.
His style is just amazing to watch, his stride and his stick handling shot. He's just an all-around good player.
То, что я могу, то, что могу играть лучше, чем обычно, что нужно работать и добиться результата.
Kremov finished last weekend with 5 points and is currently the 4th leading scorer on the team with 12 goals and 9 assists.
He leads by example, and the kids really see that. He wants to play college hockey and or go to the OHL or something like that, so he's really got to keep on working hard.
And he plans to keep his humor through it all.
Сезон, что мы сезон победим, выйдем в финал и пойдем в Лас-Вегас. Вот.
In Alpena, Shannon McGrattan, WBKB Sports.
Well, Vegas wouldn't be the worst place to celebrate a title, and Kremov was money on Friday night, assisting on Alpena's only goal. Lately, the Red Wings have been cold as ice. Detroit hoping home ice would help right the ship, with Tampa in town tonight. Jimmy Howard injured in net, so Peter Mrazek stepping in and holding Tampa scoreless heading to the third period, but Tyler Johnson changing that, banging in the cross to put the Lightning on top. At the other end, Joakim Anderson unable to finish the wraparound shot, and minutes later, J.T. Brown can finish, directing this cross past Mrazek to make it 2-0. Wings empty the net with a couple minutes to go. Alex Killorn lighting the lamp again, sealing the 5th loss in a row by the Red Wings as they drop this one 3-0.
We're not scoring, obviously, as a group right now at all, and so we got to continue to check real well and not give up much. I thought it was a tight game both ways. We got to find a way to win a game, and it doesn't matter who's playing for you. You got to find a way to win a game.
You know, we can't just come in here and say the same things all over and over again. It just makes you look silly, so we have to find a way to show it on the ice.
The Lions gearing up for Monday night's big showdown against the Ravens. Baltimore coming in on a roll, winning 3 in a row. Meanwhile, Detroit has dropped 3 of its last 4, but a couple of things do bode well for the Lions. First, the game is at Ford Field, where Detroit is 4-2. Baltimore is 1-5 on the road. Second, the Lions match up their strong defensive line with a weak Baltimore offensive line. But at the end of the day, whichever team comes through in the clutch should have the better chance of winning, with the whole country watching.
When it's crunch time, it's time to go deliver, and that's where we are right now. We're 3 games left in the season. We're in first place in the NFC North, and it's there for the taking, but, we got to go out and take it.
We let a couple get away there late in this season, but we still have, our own destiny in our hands, so we just go out there and perform like we know we can and like we should, we're going to be fine.
The best in the West Trailblazers visiting the Pistons tonight. We pick it up in overtime. Detroit down 3. Greg Monroe getting the hook to fall to cut the deficit to 1. Then Brandon Jennings right here with the big step-back 3-pointer. Game all tied up now at 1:05. Pistons go back down a pair, but Andre Drummond coming through with the big putback dunk, so we're tied up at 1:07. And Rodney Stuckey's like, hey, I've got a game-tying shot in me too. He knots it at 1:09. But Portland having the final word tonight. Damian Lillard claiming the game winner as the Trailblazers top the Pistons 111-109.
We have to be able to finish those plays, and we have to be able to finish like the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And everything we do is a learning curve and a learning period for us. But at some point, we have to be able to finish those plays. And tonight, we didn't finish them.
Looking ahead to tomorrow night's boys basketball schedule, Mayo looking to improve to 3-0 on the road at Alcona. Alpena is at home looking for win number 1, hosting Sioux. Atlanta is home against Alba, trying to get its second win, and 0-2 Augre looking to bring back a win from Fairview. 1-1 Hale will be up north at Posen, while Rogers City will be at Oscoda, looking to slow down that Big Owls front court, and Hillman heads down to Whittemore, looking to make it 2 wins in a row. A couple girls games for you as well. Joburg heading to East Jordan, trying to improve to 5-0, while Onaway plays host to Boynes Falls. Those scores and highlights tomorrow at 11 right here on WBKB. So I don't know what to tell you, Ashley. It seems like we just can't buy a win tonight. The Red Wings losing, the Pistons losing, a bunch of local teams losing last night. So I don't know what's going on.
Hopefully the Lions can pull off that win tomorrow, Monday Night Football.
That would be big. Yeah, so I mean, they need one. They've lost 3 of their last 4. So they need one to clinch the NFC North. They can't do it this week, but hopefully that'll help them here. So.
There you go. All right, well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, the fastest man on earth raced a bus yesterday. Find out who came out victorious right after this break. Welcome back. The fastest man on earth, Jamaican Olympic sprinter Usain Bolt, raced against a Buenos Aires bus yesterday and won, to the delight of fans who gathered to watch. Bolt, who won gold medals in 2 consecutive Olympic Games, Beijing in 2008 and London in 2012, said he has set his sights on winning a 3rd time in Rio in 2016. Bolt said at a news conference that one of his main goals is to go to the Rio Olympics to defend his titles. He said it's never been done 3 times, so he's trying to set the bar as high as possible just to push the barrier. After beating the bus, Bolt raced a 393 feet sprint against fellow Jamaicans Mario Forsyth, Kamari Roach, and Daniel Bailey. And if you watch that video, it looks like he was jogging to beat the bus.
Yeah, he was coasting, just like in the Olympics when he got way ahead. Yeah. He would coast.
It was not a struggle.
But I like that he did this. He's a cool customer. And I like his signature Usain Bolt motion there. So.
And he seems to always enjoy his fans.
He is. He
very
has a
friendly.
lot of fun there. So, and remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com if you haven't already for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That will do it for tonight's show, but be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian here tomorrow morning on 11.3. Enjoy the rest of your night.